So this video is just going to be about Flare, the Flare network, everything that I know about it prophetically and practically, dreams and visions that have been had, some being fulfilled right now, others yet to be fulfilled, but obviously in the process of being fulfilled, as well as the practical things like what is F assets? What are F assets? What is FXRP? Why is it so good? How is it going to benefit you? Right. So that's what this stream is about. So, starting off right away, I want to go back to a dream I had in September 2023, actually. Not this September, but September 2 years ago, exactly 2 years to the month. Now, I've talked about prophetic gap years before, right? I've talked about how I've seen this in my life. This may not be across the board for everyone, although I have seen it with other people as well. But I'll receive revelation, and then exactly a year later, you'll see either confirmation of that revelation or fulfillment of that revelation. And I'm seeing it expand at times. Sometimes it's exactly 2 years. Sometimes it's been exactly 1 month, whatever the case may be. So let me pull up this just so you can see what I'm talking about. So I did a video on Wrapped XRP 2 years ago, September 2023. Okay. This video here, as you can see, 2 years ago, I tagged Kelly Belief Bag because Kelly, for me, she was the first one I ever heard talked about Wrapped XRP. As you may be able to read, I don't know if it's too small, but in the video description, it says after hearing Wrapped XRP for the first time on Sunday, which was from one of Kelly's videos, right? So I had watched the beginning of one of Kelly's videos. I hadn't even finished the video or gotten to the middle of it, if I recall correctly. I had a dream that night. Now, the dream was very cryptic. The language that was used was cryptic. I was watching a man speak about XRP. He was in a business suit. He was speaking about XRP. The language he used was very cryptic, but after waking up and interpreting and seeking the Lord, I knew it was about XRP, which is, as you can see in the title and the thumbnail of this video. So that was my very first video about wrapped XRP. Now, what you need to understand about FXRP is it is wrapped XRP. Okay, is simply Flare's version of wrapped XRP. Think of it like branding, right? We're going to call it FXRP. F stands for Flare, right? So when these videos that I've done about wrapped XRP 2 years ago, 9 months ago, I made a little short about it a year or more ago. These are all pointing to FXRP, which just went live today. Okay. So in a sense, these things that I spoke about prophetically are being fulfilled right now today. Okay. So that was exactly 2 years ago, that first dream about wrapped XRP, which was pointing to FXRP. In that video, Kelly was talking about Flare, and then I had my own dream. Okay. So as I've already mentioned, we'll go to Flare's Twitter account. As I've already mentioned, this is Flare's X account. FXRP is live. Flare says XRP's next chapter starts today. Okay. I don't know if you can see that text. Let's zoom in just a little bit. That's too much. All right. That was 3 hours ago. XRP's next chapter starts today. Okay. Here's another reposted tweet talking about F assets, one-to-one representation of XRP on the Flare network, so on and so forth. Okay. Here's their website announcement. Let me move this. F assets are live. XRP meets DeFi on Flare. Okay. Now they've been testing this for like 9 months. All right. Testing started on the Songbird network, which is their test network, back in December. I participated in the test with FXRP. They also tested F Doge. As of right now, FXRP is the only one that is live on the Flare network. So they tested on the Songbird network. Once it's ready, it goes live on Flare. Okay. It says F assets are Flare's protocol for turning non-smart contract enabled cryptocurrencies like XRP into assets that can be used in DeFi, decentralized finance, on Flare and beyond. So essentially, this gives XRP more utility than it has natively. The XRP ledger and XRP on that ledger natively does not support smart contract functionality. That's why something like this is beneficial, and you may even think of it as being needed. Okay. Let me check the chat. See, there's some messages. Hello, Victory. Nat, hey brother, do you have any words from the Lord about B&B animals, tiger, lion, frog? Not personally, but I've been talking the past couple of days to a sister who is very trusted. And she recently had a positive word about B&B frog. It may have already played out though, so you got to be careful about that. And there's another B&B animal. Honestly, right before I went on this live stream, she sent me a message. There, she's texting me right now, actually, responding to me about another B&B animal, but she's still figuring it out. She's not completely sure, so we're not going to launch, or I'm not going to speak about that yet. Okay. I like this look better. I hate that little tiny, and I changed it before we started. But anyway. So I do not have any words on B&B animals besides WikiCat, right? Of course. But there may be something soon. All right. Dan says, Shalom, Brother Marcus. God bless all of my brothers and sisters on this live. Amen. Don't forget to click the like button, y'all. All right. Hello, Lucci. Okay. Okay, so like I was saying, F assets are gives smart contract functionality to cryptocurrencies that don't natively have it. So FXRP is the first one to go fully live today. Okay, they've tested F Doge, they've talked about F Bitcoin, they've also talked about FXLM, but there hasn't been any recent news on the FXLM. That was a couple of years ago when they were talking about that. But within the past year, they have tested F Doge and they have mentioned F Bitcoin, but those two are not going live anytime soon, to my knowledge. All right. So the next dream I want to share is a dream from Gabriel, right? Some of you remember Gabriel. Let's see. I think I have a thumbnail here. Yeah. So Gabriel is the brother on this thumbnail here in the middle to the far right. Okay. If you remember him, he likes to lay low. So he's posted videos on his channel before, but I think he's removed most of them. I haven't seen him online in a while as far as posting videos, but he shared some prophetic things in the past. But he prefers to lay low. Well, in June of this year, he shared two dreams with me, and he shared it with me and two other people. So I'm honored to be one of the three he felt he could share this dream with. And I have shared this dream in my member section. The reason I only shared it in my member section so far is because Gabriel gave me the green light to share it. He said I can share it however I want. But let me go to the member section. But he was hesitant because it includes a date. The dream has a date in it, okay? And he knows how people can get about dates. Come on now, where is it at? Let me go over here. He knows how people can get about dates, right? So it's this video here in the middle when I shared it 2 months ago. Now you can see on the thumbnail, the top text in the black is actually a screenshot from a text he sent me. And then the bottom part is a tweet from Brad Garlinghouse the very next day. And so essentially what I shared, and I'll tell you what the dreams were about in a second, but what he shared with me essentially was confirmed the very next day, at least in my eyes, and even more so today. Okay. So Gabriel had two dreams that he shared with me. Let me go back to full screen. So in the first dream, he was, let me see what order I want to share these. So in one dream, okay, he was at work and he was teaching his coworkers about cryptocurrency. Again, he had these dreams in June. He was teaching his coworkers about cryptocurrency. And he talked about XRP. He talked about a couple of other cryptocurrencies, but he talked about Flare. And that stood out to him because he has never seen Flare in a dream before. And one thing he told his coworkers about Flare is that Flare essentially will unlock XRP. That's what he told them in the dream. Okay. Flare will unlock XRP. Now we see that in a literal sense because FXRP on the Flare network gives XRP more utility. It is unlocked in its use cases, the ways it can be used now, right? DeFi, lending, staking, etc., right? All the different DeFi protocols. So in a literal sense, that dream is fulfilled and confirmed today. I also feel that it could be speaking to the price, right? Like ideally we're going to start to see XRP move up in price. Now the second dream was he was at, and I may be getting some of the details fuzzy, so if he sees this, he's free to comment and correct me. But he was having a meal in public with his wife, and his wife said, I want to settle this once and for all. I want to settle this debate once and for all. And he asked her, like, what debate? And essentially she said XRP. Like, essentially, when is it going to do what we expect it to do? When is it going to run up, you know? And then he looked over to a woman who was also in the same restaurant, and she was wearing a sweater, and the sweater said XRP in September. Okay. Again, he had this dream 2+ months ago. The sweater said XRP in September. Now here we are, September 24th, FXRP going live, directly connected to XRP, right? So already something major has happened. Funny enough, that Brad Garlinghouse tweet, the reason I felt it was confirmation the very next day after Gabriel shared this dream with me is because he used the same language as Gabriel's wife. That tweet was about dropping the court, the appeals in their case with the SEC. And so Gabriel's wife said, I want to settle this debate once and for all. And then Brad Garlinghouse in his tweet said, we're closing this chapter once and for all. And that was the very next day, right? So that was very clearly to me confirmation. And then we saw earlier with the Flare tweet this morning saying this is the next chapter, or XRP's next chapter starts today. So we see a lot of similar language going on here. Lucci says, I dreamt about Flare on May 17th. Let me go back to some of these. Hello, Shannon. Good to see you. Can I share the dream I had with Flare? Yeah, sure. Will you be rapping for XRP on Flare? I think I'll get to that in a minute. once we talk more about the practical stuff. Is the requirement amount of Flare 5,000 or 50,000 to wrap and stake XRP? No, that 50,000 Flare requirement is for staking Flare. Only for staking Flare. It doesn't have anything to do with FXRP or what just went live today. See, early morning on May 17th, I had a short dream. There were people in my dream, like a gathering of some sort in my house. Someone said the Flare coin went up to 10 cents. I I assume there will be a continuation coming. Rosie says, I just saw a video of someone who had a vivid dream this week that the Iraqi dinar revalued. They said their birthday is in early November and they were celebrating in their birthday. Well, we will be talking about the Iraqi dinar revaluation in this Flare video, believe it or not. So stay tuned for that. And it is connected to Flare. That's why I say believe it or not. So it's not a random addition to the Flare live stream. But thank you for sharing that, Rosie. Hello, Crypto Notebook. Lucci continues the dream. As I was looking at my phone, I woke up. I never knew about Flare, but I did pray for God to give me a dream on crypto. Okay. Yeah, 10 cents is actually what I've been kind of looking for, at least for Flare after FXRP going live. I actually have a leverage trade open right now for Flare. It's over 100% in profit. I opened it 2 weeks ago or so, maybe 2.5 or so, in the member section. I did a whole live stream where I was doing technical analysis on certain cryptocurrencies and opening some leverage trades. And Flare was one of those, and it's actually doing the best right now out of all those trades that I opened. So I expect it to only go up even more. All right. All right. So now the next stream. The next stream. Let me share my screen again. And I mentioned the channel member section. Um, for just $3 a month, you get access to all the members only videos and different perks like that. There are higher tiers for access to other things such as the Discord server and whatnot. So if you're interested, just check out the member section, click the join button below. It directly supports me in what I'm doing here. And so thank you. All right. So the other dream, let's search on my channel. Let's go. All right, this stream here, I had June last year. Okay, I call it the pink crypto dream because in this dream, I knew a cryptocurrency was becoming very scarce, very scarce. Like there was a supply shock. There was not there was not a lot of this coin left for people to buy. Okay, but the coin was not specifically identified in the dream. The only identifying marker for the coin was the color pink. I mean, like pure pink. Okay, so when I woke up, my mind first went to Velo. Okay, but then as I was preparing to make the video, my mind then went to Flare, and I talk about both cryptocurrencies in this video. Now, obviously, looking at it now, very clearly the dream was about Flare. It can still be about Velo, right? It can be about both, right? But it's very clearly about Flare, okay? And this was confirmed exactly a year later. So I had the dream last June. This June, that dream was confirmed, okay? So again, the prophetic gap year that I spoke about earlier, We have exactly a year later to the month. I had the dream last June, and then this June, the founder of Flare, let's share this, said this.
I've been receiving airdrops for quite some time because I've been delegating to the FTS. So how many more airdrops am I expecting? How much longer is this going on for?
So that runs until February 2026. And then our inflation rate is very low for the long term. So ultimately, the people that have received the airdrops are the beneficiaries of having received a large amount of Flare. It'll be very hard to get Flare after that. Very hard to get Flare after that. That's been the way we decided to distribute.
So did you hear that? Did you hear that clearly? The founder of Flare, exactly a year after my dream, where essentially I'm seeing Flare become very scarce, says himself that Flare will be very hard to get after the Flare drops end, i.e., becoming very scarce. Exactly what I saw in my dream. The Flare drops end in January. I believe January is the last Flare drop. Let me know, make sure someone let me know in the chat that you heard that video all right. Y'all know in the past we've had issues with the video audio coming through when I share my tab or whatever. Okay, so the Flare drops end in January. I believe that's the last Flare drop, which is essentially free Flare. You wrap your Flare, you buy Flare, you wrap it, you delegate it to an FTSO Flare time series Oracle, right? Essentially a validator. I don't want to use a lot of technical terms because I know a lot of you watching are not super savvy with all of this right now. And that's not me dissing anybody. It has taken me a long time to like really wrap my mind around how all this works. And I keep going back and refreshing and trying to understand more. So I'm not dissing anybody by saying, hey, I just want to use simple terms because it may be hard to understand this. Okay. But if you either stake Flare or delegate Flare, you earn Flare rewards. You earn free Flare every month for doing so. If you're delegating it, not only do you earn it every month, which are the Flare drops, but you earn additional rewards every like 3.5 days while you're delegating. Okay. So let me see where we're at. I have my little outline here. All right. So Hugo himself, the founder of Flare, said Flare will be scarce. So we can call that dream confirmed. And once Flare becomes scarce, we can call it fulfilled. I mean, you can call it fulfilled right now. The man himself said it, right? So let's see, where are we at? So we have my September 2023 wrapped XRP dream fulfilled. Now, the message of that dream was essentially that wrapped XRP is going to benefit us even more than just XRP itself. So what I believe that means is just the functionality, the utility that comes with being able to wrap our XRP on Flare. Again, restating for those who have joined after, wrapped XRP and FXRP are the same thing. FXRP is wrapped XRP on the Flare network. All right. And so that September 2023 dream fulfilled. Gabriel's dream at least confirmed, if not fulfilled, right? You may feel like, okay, we're waiting for the price to go up for that dream to be completely fulfilled. But he did get the word. And this, mind you, at the time he had that dream, there was no official launch date for FXRP. Okay. That's a fulfilled dream. His dream said XRP in September. Okay. At the time he had it, there was no launch date of September for FXRP. And he also said the other dream was Flare will unlock XRP. All right. And then my dream, June 2024, about Flare becoming scarce, confirmed by the founder a year later, saying Flare will be hard to get once the Flare drops end in January. So the next thing, the last dream I'll share, and this is connected to the Iraqi Dinar revaluation, we will go to, before I go there, I just want to explain how Flare becomes scarce real quick. All right. I told y'all that I do my research and I do my studying to try to figure out to help myself understand this stuff, right? ChatGPT is one of the tools I will use. A word on ChatGPT, because I know how people get, right? Do not use ChatGPT as God, as the Holy Spirit, okay? Do not blindly trust ChatGPT. Do not depend on ChatGPT or any AI, okay? Now, if you use it as a tool to assist you, I see no issue with that. So anyway, so like with FXRP and how all this works, if I'm trying to fully grasp it, I might go to as I did back in December when they first launched the test. I went to the Flare website, I copied the article explaining it all, I pasted it into ChatGPT, and I said, explain this to me in layman's terms. Explain this to me in simple terms, just to help me understand it better, right? So as far as Flare becoming scarce, right now, Flare drop distributions, I have something in the way on my screen. Flare drop distributions are actively releasing tokens to the public every month. Those are those Flare drops until January. During this period, there's a steady flow of new Flare entering circulation, which provides supply for the market. After January, once the Flare drops in, there won't be a predictable stream of new tokens hitting the market anymore. At that point, approximately 94 billion of the 100 billion total supply will be in circulation. 94%. The rest is mostly in the hands of the team, advisors, foundation, and long-term holders, i.e. people who are not selling, right? In order for you to be able to buy it, someone has to be selling it, okay? So why Hugo says Flare will be hard to get, with no fresh supply flowing to exchanges each month, availability shifts to secondary markets, traders, investors, institutions. If demand for using Flare's network grows after 2026, which we can assume it will with FXRP and whatever else they continue to develop, the lack of automatic supply coming in every month could make it scarce relative to demand. All right, especially if holders are not selling. Okay. So that's what will lead to the supply shock for Flare. Supply shock usually means price goes up. All right. Let me check the chat. Okay, I'm glad y'all could hear it okay. Luis says, please, how can I learn how to open trades? So I have a couple of things out there. I mean, for one, you can join the member section for $3 a month and look at the video I just did a couple of weeks ago where I'm literally live streaming myself doing technical analysis and opening trades. I also have, if you click my Linktree link in the description, I have a introduction class to crypto leverage trading. So those are the two ways that I can provide to you right now. Obviously, you can search on YouTube and watch other videos and all of that. But those are the two things I can give you right now. Lucci says, this is the third confirmation on Flare for me. I mean, I'm not a financial advisor, right? I can't tell you what to do with your money. This is nothing in this stream is financial advice, but I think it would be a good idea if you still have yet to get any Flare. I think it would be a good idea to get some, especially before January, you know. Flare increased 16% today. That's awesome. I haven't even really checked. I checked my trade earlier, but Shannon says, I hope this isn't a dumb question, but do we purchase Flare or FXRP? You purchase Flare and you purchase XRP. And the way you get FXRP is by minting your XRP. Essentially, in layman's terms, exchanging your XRP for FXRP, right? When you mint it, your XRP gets locked up, and in exchange, you get an FXRP token, which then can be used in the various decentralized finance protocols, right? And so, sorry, I'm reading some of the comments that came in. And so it depends, to be more specific with your question, it depends on what you're trying to do, you know? And there are markets where you can, I believe you can purchase FXRP directly, like DeFi markets. So it may take a little learning to understand how to and navigate it. But there's no need if you're just, if you own XRP, you can just mint it and turn it into FXRP. And then when you're done using the FXRP, you redeem it and get your XRP back, your regular XRP. But FXRP is pegged 1-to-1 to the price of XRP. So the value will be the same. All right. So the next vision I want to share, and this is related to the Iraqi dinar revaluation, okay? So I'm just going to play for you when I shared this vision in the Discord server, all right? Now, the Discord server is part of the channel membership. It's at level 2, so that would be $5 a month. Now, one thing I need to explain about the channel membership is the channel membership is not like, hey, pay more money to get more prophecy. It's not that at all, okay? I've always said from the very beginning, if anyone joins the channel membership, I want their their heart, the purpose to be to support, right? Like you're joining to support financially. You're joining to support what I do on this channel in ministry, myself, etc. And then the content that I produce in the member section and the Discord server that I manage and all of that is my way of saying thank you for your support. Okay. It's not, oh, pay to get more prophecy. Not at all. It's, you're supporting me. I'm saying thank you. Let's do some live streams. Let me answer your questions. Let's talk about things as they come up. Let's run a Discord server where there's a community of people where we can help each other, pray for each other, keep each other informed, so on and so forth. There's about 100 people in the Discord server right now, about coming up on 250 in the channel membership. So that would be at level 2, $5 a month to join the Discord server. All right. There are also higher levels. You can get access to a monthly group call that we do every month. You can get monthly one-on-one calls with me, which is dang near half price from my regular consultation calls, one-on-one calls. Right. So take a look, just click the join button below. All right. So I'm going to play this audio message to share the vision that I had. You can see the date is July 22nd of this year. So I haven't looked into this more or prayed about it more, but during my sleep this morning, I saw an Iraqi dinar note, and on the note was printed either FXRP or XRP. And I say FXRP first because I feel like that's what it was, but I'm not 100% convinced. It wasn't extremely clear once I woke up and tried to record it. But essentially, an Iraqi dinar bill with FXRP or XRP printed on it, like it was part of the design of the bill. So I'm going to look into this more, pray about it a little more, and see if there could I mean, obviously, we know of the potential connection between XRP and the dinar, but I'm interested to see like what even FXRP could potentially have to do with it. All right. So, as you heard, July 22nd in the vision, I saw an Iraqi dinar note, and now I'm more confident now. But across the top was printed FXRP on the note. Right now, you may have heard before that that there's a link. Right, you may have heard speculation before that there's a link between XRP and the Iraqi dinar revaluation. So this vision that I had takes it even further and says specifically FXRP and the Iraqi dinar revaluation. Okay. Now I researched and I studied. I'm like, how, why does it, what benefit does FXRP have in the revaluation of the Iraqi dinar instead of just simply XRP? Right? We know XRP is used to move money, cross-border payments, all that, right, at a large scale. Well, the answer to that is, funny enough, what we've been talking about during this whole stream is smart contracts, smart contract functionality, right, which XRP by itself does not have. So essentially, smart contract functionality allows you to program the money, to put it very simply. So you can, through the contract, you can make certain conditions before money is released. For example, so like say you went to buy a house, right? And you pay, you put your down payment and remittance. And forgive me if I'm not getting all the technical terms right, but long story short, let's say you're going to make a transaction where there's a middleman, right? You give the money to the middleman, and once the other party fulfills their requirements, the middleman transfers the money to them, right? So the middleman there is there to make sure everything is fair and nobody's getting swindled and this, that, and the other. Well, with smart contracts, just one example use case, you no longer need the middleman. You can just program it into the contract. Like once these conditions are met, then release the money, right? And so that goes into, payroll, paying payrolls, which is a big part of this Iraqi dinar revaluation. You always hear people talk about the payroll and even, the oil contracts and the deals with oil and all this stuff, right? That's why having FXRP involved in this Iraqi dinar framework is profitable and not just simply XRP. Okay. So my takeaway from that dream, and I wish I would have shared it earlier, right? I wish I would have shared it publicly. I mean, I shared it in my Discord, so plenty of witnesses. But my takeaway even then was the Iraqi dinar will not revalue before FXRP goes live. That was my takeaway from the dream. And I wish I would have shared it earlier because now we can see that that statement would be true, right? FXRP is live. The Iraqi dinar has yet to revalue. And I'm sure since July 22nd to now, there's been certain individuals who, every weekend, oh, it could be this weekend. Oh, look at this piece of news. Oh, Forex is going down for maintenance on Sunday. They've never done that before. The revaluation's coming. And we see it has not happened, right? So if I would have stated in July, hey, it's not happening until FXRP goes live, or I'm sorry, it's not happening before. I got to be very specific with the words. It's not happening before FXRP goes live. We would see today that that statement was true. But now looking forward, we can see if the Iraqi dinar revaluation involves FXRP in some sort, or once it revalues, they incorporate FXRP or whatever the case may be, which would then prove that vision to be true, right? Judy says, so I'm new, but is XRP different than FXRP? You might have heard me explain it because I think you left that comment while I was explaining it, but FXRP is a one-to-one peg of XRP. So technically speaking, they are separate assets, if you will, right? But they're pegged, right? The same way USDC is not the US dollar, but they're the same value, right? And FXRP, the process is minting your XRP, right? Which means locking it up essentially on the blockchain. And in exchange, you get an FXRP token, right? For every one XRP, you get an FXRP token, which can then be used in various ways, in lending, in yield, gaining yield, i.e., making passive income, in staking, or whatever the case may be, different DeFi protocols, right? Dan says, I recall Kelly's dream about God telling her to guard and cherish the Flare network. Yes, Kelly had a dream or heard once that something, and I think this was a couple of years ago as well, something is going to wrap around XRP by that. Whatever wraps around XRP by that. So we see today that is Flare, right? So buy Flare, right? If you buy Flare and you add your Flare as collateral to a collateral pool, right? An FXRP, XRP collateral pool, then you earn FXRP as rewards, as yield. Okay. So that's a way to earn XRP, right? Without outright buying it. Shannon says, I would like to join. I assume you're talking about the member section. So if you just, you should see it on this video. I probably can't show you from my screen because I'm on my own account, but there should be a join button somewhere. If you're watching, I don't know if you're watching on your phone, computer, or whatever, there should be a join button somewhere down below. And even if you were to click, if you can't find the join button, let me show you. Actually, it is here. Right. So right here, here's the join button, right? Right next to my name. Now this is the browser version, right? So it may be in a slightly different place on the phone, but you just click the join and it'll break it down, right? $2.99 a month. You get the loyalty badge next to your name, emojis, members only live streams, no mid-roll ads. So there's no interrupting ads in the middle of the video in the member section. Shout outs, replies to your comments, right? This is the $5 a month to get access to the Discord server, and it continues, right? Monthly group call at $25 a month, so on and so forth. All right. Got a Gemini commercial there. All right. Serena says, like the video. Yes. If you've gotten something out of this video, please click the like button because that's how YouTube works, right? Hello, Miguel. Hello, Thompson. Any word on the following? IQD. I just spoke about that. Vietnamese Dong and Luna Classic. No word on Vietnamese Dong Luna Classic, no word, but one thing I am doing is I will be unstaking the Luna Classic I have staked in November, because the sentencing for Do Kwon, I believe, is scheduled for December 11th. And as you may know, if you stake your Luna Classic, the redemption period is 21 days. It takes 3 weeks to unstake, right? And so I want to unstake ahead of time, in case the price starts to move up for Luna Classic for some reason, centered around that sentencing going on around that trial. No worries, no worries, Thompson. But yeah, if you just rewind some, or maybe after we finish here, if you just go back, I did a whole segment on the Iraqi dinar evaluation. Long story short, I knew since July from a vision I had that the Iraqi dinar would not revalue before FXRP went live, right? And I go on to explain the connection between that. I just joined and want to learn about leverage. Yeah, like I said in that member section video I did a couple of weeks ago, I was doing leverage trading actually. So if you just join the member section, you will see that video. I'll show you the thumbnail here. It's this middle video here, altcoin rally. My altcoin season game plan, live trades, and TA technical analysis on BitUnix, right? So BitUnix, the business development manager, reached out to me directly back in August after I had been praying and fasting for breakthrough, right? He reached out to me randomly, basically wanted to form a partnership. He shares the same faith. He said, "I see you have a ministry, Christ is King," right? And so join the partnership there. So if you click my link tree down below, you'll see on the link tree a link to the BitUnix. They serve U.S. customers, right? No, sorry, I'm trying to get to my link tree. No, what do they call it? KYC required up to a certain amount, right? Up to a certain withdrawal limit. So, right, if you go to the link tree right here, you can see they got a new user deposit bonus going on right now. So basically free money if you're a new user and you join through my link and you deposit a certain amount, you get these different levels of free money. So if you deposit 100, and this is equivalent. So you don't even have to buy. You can transfer $100 worth of Dogecoin that you already have to your BitUnix account, and you'll get 20 USDT to use in futures, which is leverage trading. All right. Excuse me. I need to get some water. Both Flare and Songbird will be huge. I had a dream where one small frog jumped on another small frog. They both kept jumping and progressively getting fat, big with wings. So what makes you think that that's Flare and Songbird? I'm not questioning that it is. I'm just saying, like, you didn't quite make that connection. You said they merged into one big frog at the end. Oh, you kept going. Okay. They would fly about 5 feet high and then fall. A big fat frog with wings with the color of Flare. Okay, okay. But back then it was Songbird's color, purple and lavender, when Songbird hadn't been released. Okay, okay. Gotcha, gotcha. Gotcha, gotcha. Hello, Woody. Good to see you. Do you have anything on Velo? No. I don't have any updates on Velo. I mean, Velo's still working. They're still building. Velo is on the Stellar network, so kind of how we're talking about this link between XRP and Flare. I think there's a link between Velo and XLM, and some other cryptocurrencies as well. So my word on Velo is just be patient. And I am fully confident that it'll go up. It'll run. Completely confident. Yeah, Flare did stop because they stopped testing it. They stopped testing F Doge. It had never moved to the main net. It was only on the Songbird network, the test network. All right, so essentially the purpose of all this is to, one, point out the prophetic fulfillments and confirmations, right? That is important, especially when you got people in the community who still get a bunch of followers, even though they've been wrong a bunch of times prophetically, right? You got people saying Pepe's a Trojan horse years ago, and it's still here like a top 30 crypto. You got people saying God told them WikiCat is a junk coin when the developer is a Christian himself, and we see that that's false. That was also said some time ago, right? And so there needs to be some differentiation between like who's saying things that are true and who's not. You know what I'm saying? So we went over a bunch of different prophetic fulfillments in this video about Flare. We see that FXRP is very big for XRP. It's going to benefit us. I would suggest, not as a financial advisor, you do what you want with your money, but I would suggest trying to accumulate Flare, trying to get some Flare. Right now, the simple ways to participate in all of this, right? The FXRP and the Flare and whatnot. I mentioned one already, which is essentially providing collateral, right? So that's what kind of secures this system and makes it so that people can trust it. Is it's over collateralized. All right. And so essentially all the money that's being exchanged, all the XRP that's being minted and all that is backed up like 1.5 to 1, something along those lines. Don't quote me on the exact number, but it's all backed up. Okay. And so part of that, you can play a part in that by providing Flare as collateral to these pools, right? And in exchange for that, as a reward, you earn FXRP, right? So you can, by doing that, you can accumulate FXRP, which again is just as good as XRP. You can redeem that XRP for native XRP, or you can keep it as FXRP and, borrow against it, take out a loan, whatever the case may be, right? Earn yield with it by staking it somewhere, whatever the case may be, right? I assume there's still things to be developed with this. Another way to participate in this, like I just mentioned, is you can now borrow against it. You can now take out a loan, right? You can take out a loan and buy more XRP with the loan if you're super confident that XRP is going to run up, and then you can easily pay off the loan and profit off of the rest. Or you could take out a loan against your XRP holding just to take care of something that you really need to take care of, whether it's take out a loan to get a car that you need or whatever the case may be, right? I had a brother who is involved in this and is a little more knowledgeable than me. He sent me a message. Let me pull that up. He said definitely using Flare to earn FXRP is good. He said a riskier play is minting FXRP and taking a loan if it makes sense to accumulate more XRP. But he's not sure what the interest rate is, right? He says you can also participate in liquidity pools. And he said his goal is to accumulate as much Flare and XRP while minimizing risk. Okay. So I believe it was Busola who asked me earlier if I plan to do something specific. Let me find the message. Here we are. Will you be wrapping for XRP on Flare? I assume you mean minting my XRP and turning it into FXRP, or it's not turning it into. That's how I like to think of it because it's real simple and easy to think of it that way. But it's minting your XRP. In exchange, you get FXRP while your XRP is locked up, right? And then redeeming is the reverse process. It's taking your FXRP and exchanging it for native XRP. But I think my first approach is going to be providing Flare as collateral and earning FXRP. That's the easiest to me. That's the easiest, simplest way to earn something off of all of this, you know? So that's what I'm going to be doing. And the only thing I need to look into and figure out is if I still get the Flare drops when I do that, you know? I think the answer to that may be no. so I got to figure that out. And if the answer is no, then I would have to wait until the Flare drops end to actually do that. Or I could just take a portion, you know, I could delegate a portion to keep getting my Flare drops and then take a portion over here and put it into a collateral pool to earn FXRP. So I still got to research. I mean, this just launched today, so I still got to research, and I have thought about this over the months and researched and all of that, but it's still like, I mean, even the person who sent me the message that I was just reading, who is more familiar with it than me, he said he's just testing things out with a small amount right now, and he still has to figure some things out about it. So definitely a learning curve and things to learn about with this. Someone said, where do you buy Velo? Wherever it's listed. I bought mine. I think I've bought a lot of mine on KuCoin, right? Because I have a Palau ID. Who else lists Velo? I know that's not the only place. I also bought some on BNB, on the BNB network on DeFi, by swapping for it the same way you swap for WikiCat or, you know, these other things that you can't get on centralized exchanges. But here's how you find where you can buy anything, okay? Let me share my screen. You go to CoinMarketCap, right? Or this is where I like to go. CoinMarketCap, right? .com. You find your asset. Up 6% today. That's not bad. Right. And you go to markets. You see at the top here, it says markets. So you got Pancake Swap, meaning DeFi, swapping for it. You got Bybit, OKX, Gate.io, MEXC, KuCoin, which is where I've bought most of mine, I believe. Apparently Crypto.com, right? And you can just go through these different pages and it'll show you Uniswap, you know, the different markets essentially where you can get it at. Thoughts on Velo? I think Velo will do well. I am invested in Velo and have been for a while. I have a video about Velo that I showed earlier in this video. So that'll give you the background on what I believe about Velo if you watch that video. Let's see. How do you get the Flare airdrops? You have to. Now, this video is not going to be a how-to video. Maybe I'll do a separate video if y'all want. Let me know in the comments if y'all want me to do a how to mint your XRP and what websites you go to and what platforms you use and all of this, how to wrap your Flare and, all of that. Just let me know. But essentially, you buy your Flare. You send it to a wallet. Most of us use the Bifrost wallet, Bifrost, and right there in the wallet, you can wrap it. Once you wrap it, you then delegate that wrapped Flare to an FT. Well, what is it? A validator? Yeah, it's a validator. Yeah, it's a validator. You delegate it to a validator. And so based on how much wrapped Flare that you held during that, or Flare, really just Flare, wrapped or otherwise that you held during that month, you'll get a Flare drop based on the amount that you held, right? The other way, you can stake Flare, but it's a 50,000 Flare threshold for that. And either way, whether you stake or you delegate, you get the Flare drops, all right? So you don't have to worry about that. So there's no threshold for delegating. You can have one Flare and delegate that, right? Like you're not going to earn much in the Flare drops, but just to make the point, there's no threshold for wrapping and delegating your Flare. All right. Let's see. Marcus, for the people in your Patreon group, sorry, y'all. When someone sends a new message, it takes me back down to the bottom. For the people in your Patreon group, how are we going to get word when the Iraqi Dinar goes live and how or where to go to redeem them? So for one, I don't have a Patreon. It's a channel membership. I know what you meant, but I just want to say that for anyone watching. Someone watching who may not be familiar with me might think I actually have a Patreon on the side. I only have a YouTube channel membership. With that said, I'm not running like a news service, per se. And so for one, I don't think it'll be hard to find out that it's happened when it happens. I think it'll be mainstream news, honestly. But one thing I can suggest, if you are in the channel membership, joining the Discord, right? Joining the Discord, we post announcements in there all the time about things going on, breaking news and updates and stuff like that. So that's one way to stay informed. But then it's just like how you find out about anything, right? Like there are some people who don't know anything about Flare and are finding out about it for the first time from watching this video, right? So like whether you're on YouTube and you see a video pop up and it informs you, you can also, here's something that I do that I can share with you, right? So you can go to Google Alerts, all right? Let me just go to Google first. Well, why isn't my keyboard typing? What's going on? Hold on, y'all. There we go. Right, so Google Alerts, okay? Now you'll see I already got some alerts here, right? Just for different things that I want to stay informed on, right? But you would say create an alert about Iraqi Dinar. You could keep it simple, Iraqi Dinar or revaluation. As you can see, there's not going to be any recent results for that because that's still according to The mainstream, that's still speculation. So you can do like Iraqi Dinar, and this is an alert preview. Okay, so it's showing you the headlines that it would give you in the alert, and these are just news articles. Right now, you go to show options. Let me zoom in some. You go to show options here, right? And you can customize it, right? How often do you want to get these email alerts about the topic, right? As it happens, which means you could be getting multiple emails a day, at most once a day, at most once a week, right? Sources. I just keep it on automatic usually. Language, your language. Region, you can specify news from certain regions or any region. How many? Only the best results or all results, right? And then delivered to your email address. And that's it. Right? So that's one way as well. Google Alerts. Let's see. You are welcome, Shannon. Miguel says, I buy my Flare on Coinbase and Songbird on Kraken. Okay. Yeah, I bought Songbird on Kraken as well. I think the other person was asking Velo, though. Yeah, it looks like a lot of people would appreciate a kind of like a tutorial. It's not, I don't want to call it a tutorial because I'm definitely not an expert, but I can definitely help someone who knows nothing about it, you know. Probably makes sense to get the main coin and then get the other beneficial coins affiliated with the network. Yeah, yeah, because I mean they usually follow each other, right? Like if a native coin starts running, tokens on that network usually start to follow suit, right? Or vice versa. If a token or tokens on a network start to run, you'll see that native coin go up too because gas fees, right? So like we saw last month WikiCat running like crazy. We've seen a lot of BNB coins running. Well, no surprise that BNB has been hitting all-time high after all-time high over the past few weeks, right? So yeah, there's usually a link there. Yeah, a lot of people would like the video. so so I'll see about doing that. I'll see about doing that. Do you believe banks will begin to buy your Iraqi dinar after it revalues? I think that question is like asking, do you believe banks like money? The answer to that question is obvious, right? So like if the Iraqi dinar revalues, right, you know, wherever you exchange it at, you're going to have to pay a fee, you know? And so is a bank going to leave that money on the table? Like, oh no, we're not going to exchange the dinar. No, they're going to want their cut of your money when you come to exchange. So I absolutely believe, you know, while there may be a lot of banks right now saying we don't deal in the Iraqi dinar, I think that will change very quickly once it revalues. Well, do we have any other questions? You know what I'm going to do? One last thing. Let's gift 5 channel memberships. Okay. Now, before I do that, I'm going to show you how to opt in to getting channel memberships. So you can actually have a chance to earn this. And Innocent doesn't win again for the 8th time in a row. All right. I'm just joking. And hopefully I'm remembering the right person. All right. So let me share the screen. All right. So if you're on a browser, like I am right now, right? So this is what your screen looks like, minus the weird ad. Okay. So this is your screen, the video. You got the chat over here, right? You're going to click this menu button. Okay. This menu button up here at the top of the chat. I'm not seeing it. Hold on. I wonder if it's because I'm on my own channel. So what I was going to tell you is, at least it used to be. I don't know if it's changed or if it's just not showing me because this is my channel. So I of course I don't have the option to opt into my own gifted memberships. But you should be able to click a menu button on the chat and you should see an option somewhere. Unless they've removed it and they just automatically opt everyone in. But it used to be you had to opt into it manually to be able to receive a gifted membership. All right. So don't forget to like the video, y'all. If you got something from this, let's go ahead and gift 5 channel memberships. Oh, wow. You can switch. Wow, this is new. I could switch directly to a members only live stream after this. All right. So the gifted memberships. Hello, Belief Bag. Yes. Kelly just entered the chat. F assets are live. And that's what this whole video has been about. I mentioned you earlier. Yeah, so FXRP is live. I think the people are wondering if you're going to do a video about it or if you got anything to say. Or, I'm not to put you on the spot, but I could send you a link right quick to join my live stream real quick if you want to talk. But not to put you on the spot. I understand if you're not prepared for that. Let's get these memberships though. You get these memberships. It's for 1 month. Okay. So if you win the gifted membership, it's for 1 month. All right. So we'll do 5. Oops, I did not mean to do that. Gotta go to the money. Also, I want to say to the members who exist, if you ever feel like being generous or charitable or doing a good deed, you can gift channel memberships as well as a member. I'm just saying. All right. So you go to the $sign and membership gifting. I'll send 5 now. Natural Cures, Kristen Byers, Rhino, Margaret, and Space Gen. Congrats. These are gifted at the level 2, so you have access to the Discord if you connect your Discord. All right. Hello, Wande. Well, let me see. Let me make sure Kelly didn't message me. In case she didn't hear my offer. But either way, what else do we have before I wrap this up? Yeah, Shannon, unfortunately, you weren't. They are randomly selected also, by the way. The memberships are randomly selected. I have no say in who gets it. So you just want to make sure that you are opted into it. Let me look at the channel from an alternate account and see if the option is there. So I'm on my phone. Yeah, I don't see. Yeah, I don't see the option. I'll have to research that and see if you still have to opt in or not. Maybe they removed that requirement. Vanessa says, "How about 5 more members?" I rarely, if ever, do 10 at once. I get 10 a month, right? So I like to split it up. I also like to, like Shannon is saying here. Shannon says, "Yes, I know the Lord may want me to purchase for your faithfulness to us." I like, for people to also, actually support and purchase the very cheap, you know, $3 to $5 membership, unless you want more, with the monthly meetings or one-on-one calls. Look, y'all, I got the cheapest members anything out of anyone who does member stuff in the community. All right, so I don't think I'm asking a whole lot, and I'm, you know, in return, I'm like, okay, here's some more content. Here's a Discord server. Here's, how do you mint your XRP? Paul Barron provided a link on X. I don't see the option on Bifrost Wallet yet. You don't mint it on Bifrost Wallet. You mint it on the portal, the Flare portal. If I can recall, the website. So portal.flare.network. I actually don't think this is the website for minting. I have it bookmarked on my phone, so let me it might be though. But you see at the top right there, it says connect to wallet. You would go there and connect your Bifrost wallet to there. Let me see. I'm doing it on my phone right now. Yeah, this is not. FS. Here we go. Here we go. So that's the wrong website. Let me So it's this website here, fassets.oracle-daemon.com. I already know what some of y'all might be thinking, but anyway. So this is the site, and just like on the other side I just showed you, you would connect your wallet, your Bifrost wallet, and then you would mint directly through here, right? So let's see. There was something like, I think on X, it was something like over 2 million worth of FXRP minted in the first No, it was more than that. I want to say over $3 million worth minted in the first 2 hours of it being live. Maybe even more than that. I'm just trying to see. So you see right here, it says Mint FXRP. I'll click that, right? But you got to connect your wallet. So I was just trying to look at it without actually connecting my wallet. But that's the website. I'll post it in the chat so y'all can, if you want to, you can click it or save it. Right, so you would go there, you would connect your Bifrost wallet, and from there, right, as long as you have your XRP in your wallet, you could then mint your XRP for FXRP. All right, total 4.58 million XRP in the core vault. Collateral 19 million. Flare, and this is a stable coin. I forget the exact name of it. Total pools rewards $8,000. Total value locked nearly 14 million. You can see the minting. Obviously, it just went live, so the minting went crazy. Today, $13.64 million worth of mints, $33 worth of redeems. Again, minting is going from XRP to FXRP. Redeeming is going from FXRP to XRP. And wow, okay, this is new. They have it easily listed for you how you can earn. So these are different platforms. Kinetic is a platform, SparkDex, Enosis, these are all platforms. So it says borrow or lend with FXRP. Pool pairs, FX. So I don't want to be quoted off the top of my head exactly how the pool pairs work and how you can profit from that, but these three are all pool pairs. But essentially, the brother whose message I read earlier, he was getting like over 25% annual, what is it, APR, over 25% on his FXRP using the pool pairs. But there is risk involved in that, so that's a topic for another time, maybe in the how-to video. Thank you, Tosh. Phil says, will FXRP price be the same as XRP? Yes, it is a one-to-one peg. But yeah, minting is pretty simple. You would just go to that website and, just click through it. It's been a little minute since I've done it. I have mine pulled up right here. Let's see. I do already own some FXRP because I earned some through the test that they were doing. And so, yeah. Anyway, y'all, I think if y'all don't have anything, I think that will be it. Hopefully I can get on again not too far in the future. There are other videos I want to make. want to talk about Russia and the USA and expecting a conflict there. Want to update on the Tether collapse prophecies, right? Which have received recent confirmations, if you ask me. What else? There's a lot. I just can't recall off the top of my head. There's a lot of videos I've been wanting to make. This being one of them. Yeah, I've been wanting to make this video for a little bit. Thank you, Lucci. Thank you, Psalms. Appreciate it. All right, y'all. I'm out. Check out the members section if you want some more content. You want some community in the Discord server. You want to learn how to trade. I just did a video 2 weeks ago where I was opening some trades. And check out the link tree down below. God bless.